now. So, okay. So I want to tell you, every term the course is different. We kind of pride ourselves in that. A course about the future can't be static, right? It has to
yes,
morph
absolutely.
and change every term. And yeah. So how will it be different in winter term in January 2022? Well, believe it or not, we are planning a version of the course for the summer 2022, specifically for people in Nepal. They're starting a new university with sort of higher level education to sort of create people with critical thinking skills and kind of disruptive trajectories and so on. And they have asked for my help in doing that. And so I thought the easiest way to try to do that is to create a version of the course just for them. In other words, in the summer after the course that after the term that you take it ends. And so it needs to be different in some ways that the people in Nepal sort of need, and the person leading this new university think that they need more sort of astrophysics stimulation. They need to know about black holes and Big Bang and all this. So we're going to have some sessions, at least one in the course you're taking, where we talk about what to do for this summer course and what sort of ideas and memes and stuff from astrophysics would be useful in this course and help to kind of maybe get people to understand better. We say that the singularity, the technological singularity, is using a physics metaphor of the uncertainty that surrounds a black hole and all that kind of stuff. So maybe actually studying that a little bit more, give people some idea. What do you mean a physics metaphor? What you talking about? You know? Yeah,
exactly.
So we'll probably get two kinds of people to talk about this. One is actual astrophysicists, and the other is fiction writers, because there's a lot of sort of, the universe
awesome
and stuff
combination
in science fiction, right? So, and have some of them talk about that. Yeah. So the other thing is that we have a lot of the course that's about artificial intelligence. And we have these plans to sort of help save humanity from itself, these big 12 big challenges of the human race. I can show you some of them. I think so. Here are 6 of the 12. Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, yeah. So what? Awesome. Yeah. So things like this: colonialism, male-on-male aggression, multiple instances of self, institutionalized racism, climate change, and nuclear war. And then there are a bunch of others using AI to help solve these, because AI has solved protein folding. So this is a depiction of protein folding in a pathologist's office. Actually, I don't think pathologists spend very much time working on protein folding, but if they did, this is what it would look like. Yes.
In its purest form.
Right. And protein folding is like really important to antigen antibody binding and receptors and all sorts of things. Protein shape, protein folding is sort of one of the big ideas in biology, and a lot of things depend on it. And the interesting thing about it is the human brain cannot understand it. I mean, it's just too complicated to wrap your head around, but computers can understand it. And they basically solved protein folding in fall of 2020.
Wow.
So yeah, so using that as a metaphor, then you would assume that computers and AI can solve a lot of these other big problems of the human race, which are actually less complicated than protein folding.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's sort of too binary. It's like, oh, okay, some things humans solve by themselves and some things take AI. Actually, there's a whole spectrum of sort of things you can count, things you can measure, quantifiable things, and sort of big data and analysis of big data. And some of the problems will not really require formal artificial intelligence, but still require some quantitation. So in this term that you would be taking, we're going to talk more about that whole spectrum of what kinds of approaches could help solve these problems, and how measuring things and counting things is obviously good, but that it's not all AI. And then a lot, of course, the course has always been our relationship to AI. You know, what things can AI do that we can't, and vice versa. And so that this is sort of a depiction of some of that. So what does this graphic mean? Does it mean that AI it understands beauty better than humans? I don't know, but maybe in the future they will, and that they can communicate from the middle of a desert better than humans.
You could go both ways on that.
Yeah. So anyway, so yeah, there are all sorts of things like that. And the idea of saving humanity from itself, this is a graphic showing that. And then the idea of thinking really big. So like this is a mega structure around the Earth. And if you're worried about global warming, you would realize once this mega structure exists, there's no worry about global warming. You can fine tune the temperature of the Earth to whatever you want and just keep the extra energy to do good things with it. So this is a Kardashev type 1 civilization. It's able to do that, and that's probably where we're headed, and we will get there someday. That's just type 1. So type 2 does the same thing around the sun, collect all the energy of the sun, and imagine what you could do if you had command of all the energy of the sun.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So then it goes on and on. But there's a thing that's probably important that determines whether we continue to be accommodated on the Earth or not. And that is whether there's proof of the basic goodness of human beings. So this is a graphic that depicts that basic goodness of human beings. And if there is a thing like that, if such a thing exists, then even when machines are smarter than we are, they'll say, oh, well, humans are so good and they know about nature and stuff. You know, we'll make sure that that the Earth continues to like keep them happy and stuff. Yeah. But if there is no proof of this basic goodness of human beings, they'll probably, as machines get smarter, they'll simply ignore us, which won't turn out well, right?
Not great.
Yeah, so a lot depends upon this basic goodness of human beings. And if you think about this graphic, can you describe all the ideas in the graphic? Probably not. Some seem to go beyond words. And I think, in fact, a lot of the students with graphic arts skills are capable of things like this. Like here's a picture of me and my robotic dog, but it actually looks a bit better than I look, and it's better than the dog looks, and yeah, what's going on in that background, eh? So yeah, so it's really interesting how there probably are important ideas that are hard to put in words, but that graphics bring out. Like, what about this person? We don't know it's a human. It could be a Sasquatch or something, but looking at the universe, right?
You never know.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, so what does that make you think of? And so on. So there actually it is quite an intriguing question of how much we can influence the world through graphics and sort of lead it up to the person looking at the graphics. What does this really mean? You know, and yeah. So this is also a new idea that we're sort of playing with. Yeah, and so then also, you know, what we can speculate, since course starts after the holiday season is over, how technology has really affected the holidays, and to what extent do we actually have drone deliveries of presents instead of Santa and so on? Yeah, is that a thing?
Oh, or? Yeah. We don't know the gadgets Santa has now, so.
Anyway, yeah, so those are some of the new features in the course. And you might say, well, what about this summer after the course? Who would want to, I mean, when the course ends, don't people just move on? No, a lot of people don't move on. I mean, for some students, this is just another course, right? And when the course ends, they're on to other things. But other students really get hooked on the course and want to like keep helping us with the course, keep doing things associated with the course. So students like that who want to do something associated with the course this coming summer, they have two options. They can help us with the course for Nepal. They can do that from Edmonton or really wherever they are in the world. Or they can go to Le Mans, France, and spend the summer doing nephrology research with Georgina Piccoli. Yeah, so
that sounds familiar.
We have you know, exchange program like that. Yeah. So so and
that sounds familiar.
Yes, yeah.
Oh,
so yeah, Amir's been there, I guess. So
yeah,
so
he's been there.
He can tell you what it's like. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's told us the many stories of living on his own for once and getting used to it. It sounded like a blast.
Right. Okay, I'm gonna stop the